Start counting. 1 star per second. In 3 million years, you'll reach 100 trillion. That's how many stars live in IC 1101, the largest galaxy we've ever found. But here's what troubles me most. Your brain will give up trying to understand this number in about 15 seconds. Not because you're not clever enough, because we're animals built to count berries, not eternities. The question isn't whether this galaxy is big. The question is, what does it mean to be a creature who can know about something your mind cannot hold? And why would the universe make you that way? I've spent my entire life among creatures trying to make sense of their world. A lion doesn't contemplate the savannah's vastness. A whale doesn't ponder the ocean's depth. They live in their environment without the burden of comprehending it. But you're different. You're cursed and blessed with awareness that exceeds your capacity. You can know about IC 1101 without being able to truly picture it. You can understand you're going to die without being able to feel what that means. You exist in this strange gap between knowledge and comprehension, and that gap is where all your suffering and all your wonder lives. And it's not just cosmic scale where this gap appears. You experience it every day in smaller ways. Climate change is happening, but you can't feel the full weight of what that means. You understand intellectually that billions of people exist, but you can't hold them all in your heart. You read statistics about suffering, and your mind glazes over because the numbers are too large to metabolize into actual empathy. This isn't a moral failing. This is the architecture of consciousness. You're built to care deeply about a small circle and abstractly about everything beyond it. The circle is maybe 150 people, Dunbar's number, the maximum social group size your primate brain evolved to handle. Beyond that, people become statistics, and statistics don't make you weep. So let me be direct with you about why we're here together for the next 2 hours. This isn't a science lesson disguised as philosophy. This isn't me trying to make you feel small so I can feel smart. This is about something much more urgent. You're living in a universe of incomprehensible scale, and nobody taught you how to do that without losing your mind. Nobody taught you how to know you're temporary without despairing. Nobody taught you how to be small and significant at the same time. And the lack of that teaching is making you sick. Here's the pain I know you're carrying, even if you can't name it. You look up at the night sky sometimes and feel this crushing weight. Or you read about cosmic scale and feel yourself shrinking. Or you think about how old the universe is and how brief you are, and something inside you just deflates. You oscillate between two equally uncomfortable states. Sometimes you feel so small you don't matter at all. Other times you feel so ignorant about how vast everything is that you can't even understand your own smallness. Both feelings leave you unmoored, floating in existential confusion, wondering what the point of any of this is. And here's what makes it worse. The world gives you two terrible options for dealing with this. Option 1, don't think about it, stay busy, keep your head down, worry about mortgage payments and social media likes, and ignore the cosmos entirely. This works until it doesn't, until you're lying awake at 3 in the morning and the questions come flooding in anyway. Option 2, embrace your insignificance. Tell yourself you're just a speck, you don't matter, nothing matters, we're all just atoms randomly bouncing around. This feels sophisticated and scientific until you realize it's just depression wearing a lab coat. But there's a third option, a better one. And IC 1101 is going to teach it to you. Here's the core insight, the thing that everything else will hang on. Your inability to fully comprehend IC 1101 is not a failure. It's the entire point. The universe made you big enough to know about this galaxy, but small enough that you can't hold it all. That gap, that reaching beyond your grasp, is what makes you human. It's what makes you matter. You're not an observer of the universe looking at it from outside. You're what happens when the universe becomes complex enough to observe itself. And that's not insignificance. That's the closest thing to magic that physics allows. So here's what this video is actually about. It's about using IC 1101, this preposterously enormous galaxy sitting a billion light years away, as a mirror. A mirror to see yourself clearly to understand what you actually are. Recycled stardust, briefly capable of comprehension, living in a cosmos that doesn't love you back but gave you life anyway, mortal and meaningful at the same time. We're going to spend time with stories about this galaxy, yes, but really we're spending time with you, with what it means to be briefly conscious in a universe that's mostly not, with how to live well knowing you're temporary, with how to find meaning when the cosmos offers none, with how to be small and significant, dying and beautiful, limited and free, all at once. And I'm not going to lie to you, some of this will be uncomfortable. When you truly grasp your own mortality, there's grief in that. When you accept the universe's indifference, there's loneliness in that. When you release your need for permanence, there's loss in that. But on the other side of that discomfort is something I can only describe as relief. The relief of living in reality instead of fantasy. The relief of accepting what's actually true instead of what you wish were true. The relief of being small enough that you don't have to carry the weight of cosmic importance, but significant enough that your brief time here matters. Let me start with a story, because the truth is, every great discovery is first a story of confusion. We think science is about certainty, but it's really about slowly, painfully admitting how wrong we've been. And IC 1101 story starts with a man looking at something he couldn't understand. It's June 19th, 1790. William Herschel, a German-born British astronomer, is sitting in his garden in Slough, England, systematically sweeping his telescope across the night sky. He's already famous by this point. He discovered Uranus 9 years earlier, completely by accident, becoming the first person in recorded history to find a new planet. But Herschel's real passion isn't planets, it's cataloguing. He's obsessed with documenting every fuzzy object in the sky, every nebula, every cluster, every smudge of light that isn't a normal star. Picture him there in the darkness. It's late June, so the nights are short but clear. Herschel has developed a system over years of observation. He moves his telescope in systematic sweeps across the sky, dividing the celestial sphere into manageable sections. His sister Caroline sits nearby with pen and paper, ready to record whatever he calls out. They work in near silence. The only sounds the creaking of the telescope mount and William's occasional observations. The air smells of cut grass and coal smoke from London, 30 kilometers away. On this particular night, his telescope, a reflecting telescope with an 18-inch mirror, enormous for that era, sweeps across the constellation Virgo. And there, at a very specific coordinate in the sky, he sees something, a faint, fuzzy blob of light. Nothing spectacular, nothing that makes him gasp or call out to Caroline in excitement, just another nebula to add to the list. He carefully records its position in his notebook. Right ascension, declination, a brief description, faint nebulous patch, and then he moves on to the next object. Herschel has no idea what he's looking at. He cannot possibly know. The technology doesn't exist yet to measure how far away this object is. The scientific framework doesn't exist yet to understand that it's not a cloud of gas in our own cosmic neighborhood, but an entire separate universe of stars, a city of suns so distant that its light has been traveling toward Earth for over 1 billion years. To Herschel, it's just one more fuzzy blob among hundreds he'll catalogue in his lifetime. Interesting only because it exists and he can record it. But here's what moves me about this moment. Herschel is doing something profound without knowing it. He's expanding the boundaries of human awareness, one small observation at a time. He doesn't know, he's just spotted the largest galaxy humans will discover for the next 2 centuries. He's just being thorough, just being curious, just pointing a telescope at the sky, because he wants to know what's there. And that curiosity, that willingness to look carefully at something he doesn't understand, is the beginning of everything. Think about what this means for your own life. How often do you pass by something mysterious and just keep walking? How often do you encounter something you don't understand and decide it's not worth the effort to investigate? Herschel could have skipped that patch of sky. He'd already catalogued hundreds of nebulas. One more wouldn't have made his career. But he looked anyway. He recorded anyway. He maintained his curiosity even when the discovery seemed routine. This is the first lesson IC 1101 teaches. Significance often appears ordinary at first glance. The most important things in your life might not announce themselves dramatically. They might show up as fuzzy, unclear, seemingly routine. The relationship that will change everything starts with one unremarkable conversation. The insight that transforms your thinking arrives as a small, quiet realization. The decision that alters your trajectory feels minor when you make it. Herschel catalogued something that seemed ordinary and discovered a galaxy. You might be passing by your own versions of IC 1101 every day, dismissing them as routine because they don't arrive with fanfare. For the next 140 years, that fuzzy blob sits in astronomical catalogues, occasionally observed, never understood. It gets a new designation, IC 1101, from the Index catalogue published in the late 1800s. Its entry number 1101 inches a list of celestial objects, as bureaucratic and unsexy as it sounds. Astronomers look at it when they're surveying that region of sky. They note its existence. They move on. Nobody knows what it really is because nobody yet knows what galaxies really are. Think about how long that is. 140 years. That's longer than the United States has existed as a nation. That's longer than the entire history of photography, of electricity, of automobiles. For all that time, IC 1101 sits in the catalogues, invisible in plain sight. Data without context, information without understanding. This happens all the time in your life too. You have experiences whose significance you won't understand until decades later. You collect data points that seem meaningless until suddenly they connect into a pattern. You catalogue observations about yourself and the world without knowing what they add up to. Then comes 1920, and everything changes. At the Mount Wilson Observatory in California, astronomer Edwin Hubble is working with the largest telescope in the world, a reflecting telescope with a 100-inch mirror. He's observing a class of stars called Cepheid variables in what everyone then called the Andromeda Nebula. These stars pulse in brightness with a regular period, and astronomers had recently figured out a remarkable thing. The period of the pulse is directly related to the star's intrinsic brightness. This means if you can measure how bright a Cepheid appears and how fast it pulsates, you can calculate exactly how far away it is. Hubble does the math on the Cepheids in Andromeda, and the answer he gets is shocking. Impossible. The Andromeda Nebula is roughly 1 million light-years away. That puts it far, far beyond the edges of the Milky Way. It's not a cloud of gas within our galaxy. It's an entirely separate galaxy, an island universe of stars in its own right. Our galaxy is not the entire universe. It's just one galaxy among many. Imagine being Hubble in that moment. You've just proven that everything humanity thought about its place in the cosmos is wrong. The universe isn't just our galaxy. It's millions of galaxies, maybe billions, stretching out in every direction. You've made our world smaller and the universe vastly larger in a single calculation. The weight of that realization must have been extraordinary. This discovery changes everything humans thought they knew about our place in the cosmos. And suddenly, all those fuzzy blobs that observers like Herschel had been cataloguing take on new meaning. They're not nebulas. They're galaxies, separate, distant, each one containing billions of stars. IC 1101 is not a cloud. It's a civilization of suns so far away that we're seeing it as it was over 1 billion years ago. But even then, even after Hubble's revelation, it takes decades more to understand just how special IC 1101 is. The telescopes get bigger, the measurements get more precise. Astronomers develop new ways to estimate galactic masses and sizes. Photography improves, allowing longer exposures that capture fainter details. Spectroscopy advances, letting scientists analyze the light from distant galaxies to understand their composition and motion. And slowly, over the course of the 20th century, a picture emerges. IC 1101 is not just another galaxy, it's a monster. It sits at the center of the Abell 2029 galaxy cluster, a massive collection of hundreds of galaxies all bound together by gravity. And IC 1101 dominates that cluster the way a mountain dominates a plain. The numbers, when we finally calculate them, are obscene. IC 1101 is somewhere between 4 and 6 million light-years across. Our Milky Way galaxy, which already seemed impossibly large, is only about 100,000 light-years across. IC 1101 is 40 to 60 times larger than our entire galaxy. If you placed IC 1101 where our Milky Way sits, it would engulf not just our galaxy but Andromeda, 2.5 million light-years away. It would swallow the Triangulum galaxy. It would absorb every single dwarf galaxy in our local group. All of them would simply become components of this galaxy's vast structure. Let me help you visualize this differently. Imagine the Milky Way is a city, say London or New York. A large metropolitan area, but still comprehensible. You can drive across it in a day. You can understand its boundaries. Now, IC 1101 would be a territory the size of the entire United States, or larger. Actually, the scale is closer to this. If the Milky Way were the size of a human hand, IC 1101 would be the size of a football field. No, bigger, a shopping mall. The metaphors keep failing because the scale is too extreme for comparison. And then there's the star count. IC 1101 contains approximately 100 trillion stars. 100 trillion. The Milky Way has maybe 400 billion at most. IC 1101 has about 250 times more stars than our home galaxy. If you started counting the stars in IC 1101 at 1 star per second, counting continuously without sleeping or eating or resting, it would take you over 3 million years just to reach 100 trillion. Let me give you a sense of what 3 million years actually means. 3 million years ago, the genus Homo, our genus, was just beginning to emerge in Africa. Australopithecus was still around. Stone tools were brand new technology. Language as we know it didn't exist. Writing wouldn't be invented for another 2,900,000 years. Everything humans have done, all of recorded history, all of civilization has happened in the last 10,000 years. That's about 0.03% of the time it would take you to count IC 1101 stars. Here's another way to think about it. The pyramids of Giza were built about 4,500 years ago. They seem ancient to us, monuments from the distant past, but 4,500 years is nothing compared to 3 million. If you started counting IC 1101 stars when the pyramids were built, you'd still have 2,995,500 years of counting ahead of you. You wouldn't even be 1% finished. Now, I know what's happening in your mind right now. You're trying to picture 100 trillion stars and failing. Your imagination is reaching for something to grab onto and finding nothing. This is normal. This is the gap I mentioned. You can know the number is 100 trillion. You can understand that it's vastly larger than 100 billion, but you cannot feel the difference. Not really. Your brain wasn't built for this. Here's why. Your ancestors needed to distinguish between 3 predators and 4 predators, between 2 children and 3 children, between 5 berries and 6 berries. Natural selection optimized your numerical intuition for small quantities relevant to survival. Once you get past about 7 objects, your brain stops counting precisely and starts estimating. 10, 20, a lot. That's the granularity most humans operate at naturally. Anything beyond that requires abstract mathematics, symbolic notation, metaphor. You can manipulate the symbols correctly, but you can't visualize what they represent. There's a famous experiment that demonstrates this. Researchers show people dots on a screen very briefly, too fast to count. Up to about 4 dots, people are almost perfectly accurate identifying the number. They don't count, they just know. 5, 6, 7 dots. Accuracy drops, but most people still do okay. 8 or more dots, people start guessing, and their guesses are often wildly wrong. Your brain has a hard limit on what it can intuitively grasp. This same limitation extends to time. You can feel the difference between 1 minute and 5 minutes. You can sort of feel the difference between 1 hour and 5 hours. But can you feel the difference between 1 year and 5 years? It gets fuzzy. Between 10 years and 50 years. You know intellectually that 50 years is 5 times longer, but do you feel it? And between 1 million years and 1 billion years, your brain gives up entirely. They're both just really long time ago. So when I tell you IC 1000, 101 contains 100 trillion stars, you're receiving information, not comprehension. The number goes into your head as symbols. Your brain tries to convert it to an image and gets nothing. Just a vague sense of vastness. This is not your failure. This is your design. You are a creature built to navigate savannas, not cosmos. But here's what I want you to understand. This limitation, this inability to truly grasp IC 1101 scale is itself profoundly significant, because you're trying anyway. Right now, as I speak and you listen, you're attempting to comprehend something incomprehensible. You're reaching beyond your evolutionary programming. You're using abstract reasoning and metaphor and imagination to grasp at something your sensory systems were never designed to handle. And that reaching, that striving to understand what cannot be fully understood, is what separates you from every other organism on Earth. A lion cannot ponder the size of Africa. A dolphin cannot contemplate the Pacific's vastness. But you can know about IC 1101. You can hold a mental model of it, incomplete and fuzzy as that model may be. You can understand its distant, enormous, ancient. You can reason about it, ask questions about it, feel wonder at it. You are a tiny creature with a vast reach, and that reach is the defining characteristic of human consciousness. Let me tell you how IC 1101 got so preposterously large. Because it didn't start this way. Nothing in the universe starts enormous. Everything starts small and grows, or doesn't. IC 1101's biography is a story of appetite. Go back about 13 billion years. The universe is young, less than 1 billion years old. The first stars have ignited, forming from enormous clouds of hydrogen and helium left over from the Big Bang. These stars are gathering together in small groups, proto-galaxies, dwarf galaxies containing perhaps a few million or billion stars. The universe at this epoch is far denser than it is now. Galaxies are packed close together, and they're constantly interacting. In one particular region of space, a region that will eventually be called the direction of the constellation Virgo, as seen from Earth, a cluster of these young galaxies forms. They're drawn together by gravity, orbiting around their collective center of mass. And at the bottom of this gravitational well, in the densest part of the developing cluster, one galaxy finds itself in a very special, very dangerous position. It's the largest thing around, and galaxies nearby begin falling toward it. What happens next is a process scientists call galactic cannibalism, and it's both beautiful and violent. When two galaxies approach each other, their gravity begins to interact long before they physically overlap. Stars in each galaxy feel a pull from an unexpected direction. Gas clouds get stretched and compressed. The galaxies begin to distort, their shapes warping as tidal forces rip through them. If you could watch this, in fast forward, compressing millions of years into minutes, you'd see the galaxies dance around each other. On their first pass, they swing close, like dancers clasping hands for the first time. Tidal tails of stars stream out from each galaxy, long ribbons of suns pulled out of their normal orbits by the gravity of the other galaxy. These tidal tails can stretch for hundreds of thousands of light years, ghostly streamers marking the violence of the interaction. The galaxies separate after this first encounter, moving apart again, but they're now bound together. They'll swing back. Over the next few 100 million years, the galaxies approach each other again, then again, each pass bringing them closer. With each approach, more stars get flung into the tidal tails. The gas clouds in both galaxies compress and heat up. In some regions, the compression triggers enormous bursts of star formation. Billions of new stars ignite all at once. Regions that were dark suddenly blazing with the light of stellar birth. These are called starburst regions, and they can briefly make the merging galaxies some of the brightest objects in the universe. Finally, they merge completely. Their stars mingle into a single combined system. It's important to understand that stars almost never actually collide with each other, even during a galactic merger. Space is so vast and stars so small that two galaxies can pass through each other like two clouds of gnats interpenetrating. But gravitationally, everything changes. Stars that were orbiting peacefully in one galaxy suddenly find themselves in a new gravitational field. Their orbits get scrambled. The orderly rotation of a spiral galaxy gets disrupted into the random buzzing motion of an elliptical galaxy. Their gas clouds, unlike stars, do collide. When two clouds of gas moving at hundreds of kilometers per second slam into each other, shock waves rip through them. The gas heats to millions of degrees. Some of it gets expelled from the galaxy entirely, blown away by the violence of the merger. Some of it fragments and collapses, forming new stars at a prodigious rate. And at the centers of each galaxy, their supermassive black holes spiral together in a violent merger that releases gravitational waves rippling through the fabric of space-time itself. When the chaos settles, what remains is a single larger galaxy. And if one galaxy was significantly bigger than the other, the result is called a merger, but it looks more like absorption. The smaller galaxy essentially gets eaten. Its stars added to the larger galaxy's body, like food adding mass to a growing organism. This happened to IC 1101 not once, but over and over and over. Scientists estimate that IC 1101 has undergone at least 76 major mergers in its history. 76 times, another substantial galaxy fell into this cosmic giant and was consumed. Each merger added tens or hundreds of billions of stars. Each merger fed the central black hole. Each merger made IC 1101 a little bit bigger, a little bit more massive, a little bit more gravitationally dominant. And these are just the major mergers, the absorption of galaxies large enough to significantly affect IC 1101's structure and mass. Countless smaller dwarf galaxies were also absorbed, galaxies so small they barely registered as meals. Like a whale feeding on krill, IC 1101 swept up everything in its path. Over billions of years, it grew from an unremarkable young galaxy into the largest elliptical galaxy humans have ever found. But here's what I want you to notice. Growth through consumption always has an endpoint. You can only eat what's close enough to catch. And IC 1101's position at the center of its cluster meant that eventually, inevitably, it would run out of food. The galaxies that were easy to capture got captured. The ones that remain are either too far away or moving too fast in stable orbits. The expansion of the universe itself is carrying more distant galaxies beyond IC 1101's gravitational reach, making them forever inaccessible. So now, IC 1101 sits in the middle of its cluster, enormous and alone. It consumed everything within reach, and now has nowhere left to grow. It's like an empire that conquered all its neighbors, and suddenly realized there are no more neighbors to conquer. The machinery of growth still exists. The gravitational pull, the mass, the central black hole waiting to feed. But there's nothing left to feed on. And here's where the story becomes melancholy. When a galaxy undergoes mergers, violent things happen to its gas supply. Gas is the fuel for star formation. Without gas, new stars cannot be born. During IC 1101's long history of cannibalism, each merger did something to its gas reserves. Sometimes the merger was violent enough that the gas heated up enormously and escaped the galaxy entirely, blown away by supernovas and the energy released from the central black hole. Other times the gas got compressed so rapidly that it all formed into stars at once in brief, intense starbursts, using up in a few million years what might have sustained star formation for billions. Either way, the result is the same. IC 1101 today has used up or expelled almost all of its gas. Very few new stars are being born. The galaxy is populated almost entirely by old stars, ancient stars, red giants, and yellow stars that have already burned through most of their fuel. The galaxy is dying. Not dead, its stars still shine. but dying. No new generations, no fresh births, just old light slowly fading. In a few trillion years, every star in IC 1101 will have burned out. The galaxy will go completely dark, a graveyard of stellar corpses, white dwarfs and neutron stars and black holes, drifting through an ever-expanding void. But even now, while its stars still shine, IC 1101 is essentially finished. Its active life is over. What remains is a long, slow decline into darkness. This is the fate of every empire, isn't it? Rome grew through conquest until there was nothing left to conquer, then collapsed. Britain ruled half the world until the world demanded its freedom. Standard Oil monopolized an industry until antitrust laws broke it apart. IC 1101 is the cosmic version of every story about growth through consumption. It succeeded so thoroughly at being the biggest that it destroyed the conditions that allowed it to grow in the first place. And here's where the lesson gets personal. Look at your own life. Where are you following IC 1101's pattern? Where are you growing through consumption, through extraction, through taking without giving back? Maybe it's your career, climbing by stepping on others, building your success on their defeats. Maybe it's your relationships, taking emotional support without offering it, extracting care and attention from people you never replenish. Maybe it's your attention, consuming content endlessly without creating anything, absorbing hours of other people's creativity while generating nothing yourself. Maybe it's your resources, accumulating wealth while giving nothing away, hoarding security while others struggle. I'm not here to shame you for this. Consumption is natural. You're an organism. You have to consume to survive. But there's a difference between consumption that sustains you and consumption that defines you, between eating to live and living to eat. IC 1101 crossed that line billions of years ago, and now it's paying the price. Enormous, powerful, and utterly stagnant. Growth is not just unsustainable, but terminal. The alternative model exists. It's called circulation instead of extraction. A garden doesn't grow by eating other gardens. It grows by recycling its own nutrients, by hosting relationships between organisms, by creating more than it consumes. A healthy forest doesn't extract from its environment until nothing remains. It participates in cycles that sustain themselves, water, carbon, nitrogen, moving through the system in loops that can continue indefinitely. Dead trees become food for fungi. Fungi break down organic matter into nutrients. Nutrients feed new trees. Trees create habitat for animals. Animals disperse seeds and fertilize soil. The system circulates energy and matter in ways that allow it to persist. You can choose this model for your life. You can grow through creation instead of consumption, through giving as much as taking, through participating in cycles instead of breaking them. It's harder than extraction. It's slower than conquest. But it doesn't end with you sitting alone in the middle of emptiness, wondering where everyone went. IC 1101 never learned this lesson. It just kept eating until there was nothing left to eat. You still can. Now let me take you into the heart of this galaxy. Because sitting at IC 1101's center is something even more extreme than the galaxy itself. Lurking in the core, surrounded by trillions of stars, is one of the largest supermassive black holes ever discovered. Every large galaxy has a supermassive black hole at its center. Our Milky Way has one called Sagittarius A star, containing about 4 million times the mass of our Sun. The Andromeda Galaxy's black hole is bigger, somewhere between 100 and 200 million solar masses. But the black hole at IC 1101's center is in a completely different category. Scientists estimate it contains somewhere between 40 billion and 100 billion times the mass of our Sun. Let me help you understand what that means. Take our Sun. It's a fairly ordinary star, neither particularly large nor particularly small. It contains about 330,000 times the mass of Earth. Now imagine 330,000 Earths packed together. That's already a number your brain can't really hold. Now multiply the Sun's mass by 50 billion. That's roughly how much mass is compressed into the supermassive black hole at IC 1101 center. All of that mass occupies a region of space with a boundary called the event horizon. The event horizon is the point of no return, the distance from the black hole inside which not even light can escape. For a black hole of 50 billion solar masses, the event horizon would have a radius of roughly 150 billion kilometers. Our entire solar system, from the Sun to the orbit of Neptune, is about 9 billion kilometers across. The event horizon of IC 1101's black hole is roughly 16 times larger than our entire solar system. If you place this black hole where our Sun sits, its event horizon would extend well past Pluto, engulfing everything we consider our cosmic home: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, all the asteroids, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. All of it would be inside the event horizon. All of it would be beyond saving. What would it be like near this monstrous black hole? The physics becomes bizarre, counterintuitive, almost magical. Time itself behaves differently. An astronaut falling toward the event horizon would experience time normally from their own perspective. Their watch would tick normally, their heartbeat would feel normal. But to someone watching from far away, the falling astronaut would appear to slow down dramatically as they approach the horizon. Their movements would become sluggish, then glacial, then nearly frozen. They'd appear to freeze, never quite crossing the boundary. Their image redshifted and dimmed as time dilation approached infinity. From the astronaut's perspective, they'd cross the horizon in finite time. Maybe a few seconds, maybe a few minutes, depending on the black hole's size and their trajectory. But from everyone else's perspective, they'd hang there forever, asymptotically approaching, but never reaching. This isn't an illusion. Both perspectives are equally valid. Time genuinely behaves differently in strong gravitational fields. This is what Einstein's general relativity predicts, and it's been confirmed by countless experiments. Inside the event horizon, space-time itself is so warped that all paths lead toward the singularity at the center. You can't escape, not because you lack a powerful enough rocket, but because the direction away from the black hole simply doesn't exist anymore. Every direction is toward the center. It's like being inside a sphere where all roads lead downward and there is no upward. You could fire your rockets at full power in what you think is the away direction, and you'd still fall toward the center. The geometry of space-time itself has changed. And as you fall, tidal forces stretch you. The difference in gravitational pull between your feet closer to the singularity and your head farther away becomes enormous. You get stretched like taffy in a process physicists call spaghettification. Your body elongates, your atoms elongate. Eventually you're torn apart at the molecular level, then the atomic level, then probably something even more fundamental. You become a stream of particles falling toward the center. And at the very center, the mathematics of general relativity predict a singularity, a point of theoretically infinite density where the entire mass of the black hole is concentrated. What actually exists at that singularity? Nobody knows. The equations break down. Our physics can't describe it. Quantum mechanics and general relativity, our two best theories of how the universe works, give contradictory answers about what happens there. It's a place where space-time itself ceases to behave in ways we understand. Maybe it's a point of infinite density. Maybe it's something else entirely. Maybe the question doesn't even make sense. We don't know. But here's what's remarkable about IC 1101's black hole. Despite its enormous size and terrifying properties, it's currently relatively quiet. It's not actively devouring huge amounts of matter. There's no brilliant accretion disk swirling around it, glowing hot as matter spirals inward. There are no powerful jets shooting into space at nearly the speed of light, beaming enormous energies across millions of light years. The black hole is there, waiting, patient, but it's mostly dormant. It's already consumed most of the gas and stars that were easily within reach. Now it sits in the dark, occasionally eating a star that wanders too close, but mostly just existing, patient, and implacable. This quietness is related to the same phenomenon that stopped IC 1101 from forming new stars. Most of the galaxy's gas has been used up, and without gas falling toward the center, the black hole has little to eat. It fed enormously during IC 1101's long history of mergers. Every galaxy IC 1101 consumed brought its own central black hole, and those black holes merged with IC 1101's black hole in violent collisions that made it grow larger and larger. But now the feeding frenzy is over. The black hole, like the galaxy that hosts it, is a giant in repose. There are traces of its past activity. Astronomers have detected a radio source at IC 1101 center, catalogued as PKS 1508+059. This radio emission comes from relativistic jets, streams of particles accelerated to nearly the speed of light and ejected from near the black hole. These jets carved out enormous cavities in the hot gas surrounding IC 1101 bubbles, millions of light years across, blown by the energy released near the black hole in ages past. Looking at those bubbles, astronomers can calculate how much energy was released to create them. The numbers are staggering, equivalent to the total energy output of billions of stars over millions of years. All of it coming not from fusion in stellar cores, but from matter falling into the gravitational well of the black hole and releasing energy as it spiraled toward oblivion. This is what black holes do. They're not just cosmic vacuum cleaners, though that's how they're often portrayed. They're also engines. Matter falling toward a black hole speeds up, heats up, and before it crosses the event horizon, it releases enormous amounts of energy as friction and collisions heat the infalling material. Sometimes, this energy is expelled in jets that shoot outward at relativistic speeds, pumping energy into the surrounding environment. The black hole eats, but it also breathes fire. And here's where it gets philosophically interesting. The supermassive black hole at IC 1101 center has been both the galaxy's greatest asset and its ultimate limitation. During the galaxy's growth phase, the black hole helped regulate that growth. When too much gas fell toward the center, the black hole's feeding released energy that heated the gas and pushed it back outward. This feedback prevented the galaxy from forming stars too quickly, from burning through all its fuel at once. The black hole acted like a thermostat, keeping the galaxy in balance. But now, in IC 1101's old age, that same feedback mechanism is preventing any new star formation. The black hole keeps the remaining gas too hot to collapse into new stars. It's protecting resources that are no longer needed for anything. The guard is still at his post, but there's nothing left to guard. The thermostat is still regulating temperature in an empty house. Scientists call this AGN feedback, active galactic nucleus feedback, and it's one of the most important processes in galaxy evolution. Supermassive black holes aren't separate from their host galaxies. They're intimately connected, influencing how galaxies grow, when they form stars, when they stop. There's a relationship between the mass of a galaxy's central black hole and the properties of the galaxy itself. Bigger galaxies tend to have bigger black holes. But which came first? Did big black holes grow big galaxies around them? Or did big galaxies build up big black holes? The answer appears to be that they grew together, each one influencing the other in a cosmic feedback loop. As IC 1101 consumed more galaxies, its central black hole consumed the black holes from those galaxies. The two processes fed into each other. More mass in the galaxy meant more gas falling toward the center. More gas falling toward the center meant the black hole grew larger. A larger black hole meant more energy feedback. More energy feedback meant less uncontrolled star formation. Less uncontrolled star formation meant the galaxy aged more slowly, had more time to accumulate mass. And on, a self-reinforcing cycle that produced both the largest known elliptical galaxy and one of the largest known black holes in existence. They are not separate phenomena. They are aspects of the same story. IC 1101 is what happens when a black hole and a galaxy achieve perfect synchronization over billions of years. The result is magnificent and terminal, a giant and its heart, both enormous, both dormant, both waiting in the dark for something that probably won't come. Now, I want to take you on a different kind of journey. I want you to imagine something impossible. Imagine you could somehow observe IC 1101, not through a telescope, but by being there. You're floating in space somewhere near the outer edge of this galaxy, in a spacesuit that keeps you alive, in a position where you can look around and see the galaxy surrounding you. What would you see? First, stars. Stars everywhere. Not the sparse field we see from Earth when we look up at night, but an overwhelming abundance of stars. Thousands visible in every direction you look. They crowd the sky so densely that there's barely any darkness between them. The nearest stars are close enough that you can make out their colors with your naked eye. Blue-white giants burning hot and fast. Yellow stars like our sun. Red giants swollen and cool. The light from all these stars combines into a general glow, a diffuse illumination that fills space with a faint twilight even between the stars. You look toward the center of the galaxy. In that direction, the stars grow even denser. They pack together more and more tightly until they blur into a continuous wall of light. You cannot see the center itself, it's too far away, millions of light years distant, buried behind countless curtains of stars. But you can see the general direction, a brightening, a concentration of light that marks where the galaxy's mass is most densely gathered. It's like looking toward a city from far away at night, seeing the glow on the horizon without being able to make out individual buildings. You look the other way, toward the outer edge. In that direction, the stars gradually thin out. The density decreases. The sky becomes darker between the points of light. Eventually, millions of light years away, the galaxy fades into the darkness of intergalactic space with no clear boundary. Galaxies don't have edges, like countries have borders. They just gradually diminish until there's more empty space than stars. And at some arbitrary density you say, this is where the galaxy ends. But it's a convention, not a physical limit. And stretching in every other direction around you, the same thing. A sphere of stars, thinning toward the edges, concentrating toward the center. You're floating inside the body of IC 1101, surrounded by 100 trillion suns, and every single one of them is so far away that even traveling at the speed of light, it would take you years or decades or centuries to reach any of them. The silence would be absolute. Space doesn't carry sound. No matter how violent the nuclear fusion happening in all those stars, no matter how much energy they're releasing, you hear nothing. Just your own breathing, your heartbeat, the faint sounds of your suit's life support systems. You're surrounded by the most energetic processes in the universe. Stars burning through thousands of tons of hydrogen every second, and you hear nothing. Now imagine you could somehow travel through this galaxy. You pick a direction and start moving, not at walking speed, but at a substantial fraction of light speed. You pass stars. They drift by like streetlights on a highway. Each one a nuclear furnace burning hydrogen into helium, each one potentially surrounded by planets and moons and asteroids. You travel for years, decades. The stars keep coming, they never stop. You travel for centuries at nearly the speed of light, and you're not even close to reaching the far side of the galaxy. This is what IC 1101 scale actually means. It's not an abstraction. It's a distance so vast that even light, the fastest thing in the universe, takes 4 to 6 million years to cross it. Your lifetime, even if you live to be 100, is about 0.000002% of the time light needs to cross this galaxy. You could spend your entire life traveling at light speed and cover roughly 0.000002% of IC 1101's diameter. The galaxy would barely notice your passage. You'd be a photon briefly crossing an ocean. And here's what I want you to understand about this thought experiment. You will never go there. Nobody will. IC 1101 is over 1 billion light years away. Even if we develop technology to travel at light speed, which physics says we cannot, and even if we pointed ourselves toward IC 1101 and traveled continuously, we'd arrive in over 1 billion years. Earth will be gone by then. The sun will have expanded into a red giant and consumed our planet. Humanity, if it still exists in any form, will be unrecognizably different. Our species has existed for maybe 300,000 years. 1 billion years is more than 3,000 times longer than humans have existed. Whatever descendants of humanity might exist 1 billion years from now would be as different from us as we are from ancient bacteria. IC 1101 is effectively unreachable. Not just difficult to reach, impossible. The laws of physics and the structure of space-time itself put it beyond our grasp. We can know it exists. We can study its light. We can measure its properties. But we cannot go there. We cannot send a probe there. We cannot visit or touch or experience it directly. It exists in our universe, but outside our causal light cone, outside the region of space we can meaningfully interact with in human timescales. This should bother you, not because it's sad, but because it reveals something profound about the structure of knowledge itself. You can know about things you can never experience. You can understand truths about objects you'll never touch. Your consciousness has a reach that exceeds your body's physical limits by a factor so large it's effectively infinite. You are confined to one small planet orbiting one ordinary star, but your mind can visit IC 1101. It can comprehend its scale, trace its history, predict its future. That's not a small feat, that's extraordinary. Most of what exists in the universe, you'll never directly experience. Most of history happened before you were born. Most of the future will unfold after you die. Most of space is too far away to ever reach. But you can still know about these things. You can still reason about them, care about them, incorporate them into your understanding of reality. You are not limited to your immediate sensory experience. You can think about the edges of the observable universe. You can contemplate the heat death of the cosmos trillions of years hence. You can hold IC 1101 inches your mind right now, even though it's 1 billion light years away. This capacity for abstract thought, for reasoning about the distant and unreachable, is what makes you human. It's also what makes you suffer. Because once you can think about things beyond your immediate experience, you can think about your own death. You can contemplate your own insignificance. You can lie awake wondering whether your life matters in a universe that contains IC 1101. The same capacity that allows you to comprehend cosmic scale is the capacity that generates existential dread. They're not separate abilities. They're the same ability pointed in different directions. So let me be very clear about something. The universe doesn't care whether you understand IC 1101 or not. The galaxy isn't waiting for your acknowledgement. It doesn't need your comprehension to exist. It was there for billions of years before humans evolved, and it will be there for trillions of years after we're gone. Your awareness of it changes nothing about it, but it changes everything about you. When you comprehend IC 1101, when you really sit with its scale and age and strangeness, something shifts inside you. Not immediately, perhaps, not dramatically, but gradually, like ice melting, like dawn breaking, you start to see yourself differently. You realize you're not separate from the cosmos you're studying. You're made of the same stuff. You follow the same physics. You're part of the same story that produced IC 1101, just playing a different role. The atoms in your body, every single one, were forged in stars, not metaphorically, literally. The carbon that makes up your muscles, the oxygen you breathe, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the nitrogen in your DNA, all of it was created in the nuclear furnaces at the cores of stars that lived and died before our sun was born. Stars fuse hydrogen into helium, helium into carbon, carbon into oxygen, oxygen into heavier elements. When a star runs out of fuel, if it's massive enough, it explodes as a supernova, scattering these elements across space. Eventually, Some of those atoms found their way into a cloud of gas and dust that collapsed to form our solar system. They became the Earth. They became oceans, mountains, forests. They cycled through countless organisms, bacteria and plants and animals for billions of years. And then after all that time, after all those transformations, they became you. You are made of recycled stars. This is not a poetic metaphor. This is chemistry. This is physics. This is the literal origin of the atoms making up your body right now. The very same processes that light up IC 1000, 101's 100 trillion stars also created you. Nuclear fusion in stellar cores produces heavier elements. Supernovas distribute those elements. Gravity gathers them into new structures. Chemistry organizes them into complex molecules. Biology shapes them into living things. And consciousness, somehow, impossibly, emerges from the right arrangement of stardust. So when you study IC 1101, you're engaging in a kind of cosmic self-reflection. You're star matter studying other star matter. You're the universe examining itself through the lens of one of its own products. This is the deepest connection you have to anything. Not your nationality, not your species, not even your biology. Your fundamental connection is to the cosmos itself. You are it, temporarily arranged in a pattern called you, briefly conscious, soon to disperse back into the elements from which you came. Does this make you feel small? It shouldn't. It should make you feel ancient. The atoms making up your body right now are about 13.8 billion years old. They've been recycled through multiple generations of stars. They've traveled across vast stretches of space. They've witnessed the formation and destruction of stellar systems. They carry in their very structure the history of the universe. You're not young. You're cosmically old. You're just arranged in a new way. And here's the other thing. Those atoms won't always be you. Right now, they're organized in a specific pattern that you call yourself, that has your memories and your personality and your habits and your fears and your hopes. But in a few decades, this pattern will dissolve. The atoms will scatter. Some will be buried with your body and gradually dispersed through soil, taken up by plants, eaten by animals, recycled into new life. Some will be burned and released as carbon dioxide, breathed in by trees, incorporated into leaves, fallen to the ground, decomposed. Some will be eaten by bacteria and incorporated into other organisms. The atoms continue. The pattern called you does not. This is mortality. Not some distant abstraction, but the literal, physical, inevitable dissolution of the organized structure you call yourself. The atoms are immortal, or close to it. The pattern is temporary. You are a brief arrangement of ancient material, a temporary eddy in the cosmic river, a momentary organization that will soon return to chaos. Now, most people find this thought terrifying, and I understand why. You've spent your entire life thinking of yourself as a permanent thing, a continuous self stretching from birth to death with a clear identity that persists through time. The idea that you're actually a temporary pattern, constantly changing, inevitably dissolving, threatens that sense of permanence. It suggests that the self you're so invested in maintaining is, on a fundamental level, an illusion, or at least not as solid and permanent as you've been pretending it is. But I want to offer you a different way to think about this. What if your temporariness is not a bug but a feature? What if the fact that you don't last forever is exactly what makes you valuable? Consider IC 1101. It will exist for trillions of years. Its stars will burn out one by one, but the structure itself, the collection of stellar remnants and dark matter, will persist for an almost inconceivable span of time. But it will never know it exists. It has all the time in the universe and zero capacity to experience any of it. It just undergoes duration without experiencing it. All those trillions of years are, from a subjective standpoint, meaningless. They contain no awareness, no experience, no consciousness. IC 1101 doesn't know it's IC 1101. It doesn't experience the passage of time. It doesn't wonder or fear or hope. It just is, mechanically following physics, unaware of its own existence. You, on the other hand, have maybe 80 years, if you're lucky. But you experience every moment of those 80 years. You're conscious, you're aware. You feel joy and pain and wonder and grief and love and curiosity and fear and hope. You have experiences that matter to you, that shape you, that become part of your story. Your brief time is saturated with consciousness in a way I see 1,101's eternal duration is not. So which is actually more valuable? Infinite duration without awareness, or brief duration saturated with consciousness? I'd argue for the latter. I'd argue that your 80 years of experiencing existence are worth more than I see 1,101's trillions of years of unconsciously enduring it. Because experience is what matters. Awareness is what matters. Consciousness is what matters. And you have all three, briefly, impossibly, against all odds. The universe is mostly unaware of itself. Galaxies don't know they're galaxies. Stars don't know they're stars. Atoms don't know they're atoms. Black holes don't experience their own existence. But you know you exist. You're aware of your own awareness. You can reflect on your own consciousness. You can think about the fact that you're thinking. You're the universe, waking up to itself, looking around, asking questions. And yes, that awakening is temporary. Yes, consciousness is fragile and brief. But it's still the most extraordinary thing the universe has figured out how to do. This is why I keep saying you're not insignificant. Physically, yes, you're tiny. Temporally, yes, you're brief. But functionally, in terms of what you can do and experience and comprehend, you're extraordinary. You're what happens when matter becomes complex enough to know itself. You're the universe's way of understanding IC 1101. Without you, or beings like you, IC 1101 is just matter moving through space. With you, it becomes meaningful. It becomes part of a story. It becomes something to wonder at, something to study, something to use as a mirror for understanding your own existence. You are the meaning maker, not in some mystical sense, but in a very practical one. Meaning doesn't exist inherently in the universe. Galaxies have no purpose. Stars don't mean anything. They just are, following physics, undergoing transformations according to natural law. But when you look at them, when you study them, when you feel wonder at their existence, you're generating meaning. You're taking raw facts about the cosmos and transforming them into significance through the alchemy of consciousness. This is your function, not to be big or permanent or cosmically important in some grandiose sense, just to be briefly conscious, to pay attention, to comprehend what you can, to generate meaning from matter. That's enough. That's everything. But let me be honest about something difficult. The universe that made you doesn't love you. IC 1101 doesn't care that you exist. The stars don't notice your joy or your suffering. The cosmos is not your friend, your parent, or your guide. It's not hostile either. It's not indifferent in an emotional sense. It's indifferent in the sense that it's not conscious at all. It doesn't have preferences. It's a collection of matter and energy following rules called physics. That's all. This truth bothers people deeply. We evolved in tribes where reciprocity mattered. You help me, I help you. You notice me, I notice you. You care about my well-being, I care about yours. We're wired to expect relationships to be mutual, so we project that same expectation onto the universe. We want the cosmos to notice us, to care about us, to love us back, to reward our goodness and punish our badness, to have some kind of relationship with us. We want our existence to matter to something bigger than ourselves. But the universe cannot give you this, not because it's cruel or indifferent in an emotional sense, but because caring requires consciousness, and the universe as a whole is not conscious. Galaxies don't have neurons. Space-time doesn't have intentions. The laws of physics don't make value judgments. The cosmos just unfolds according to its own internal logic, creating and destroying with equal neutrality, following rules that don't care whether you like them or not. This is hard to accept. It feels like abandonment, like being born into a universe that doesn't want you, that didn't plan for you, that won't miss you when you're gone. But I want to reframe this for you, because the universe's indifference is actually a gift, not a curse. If the universe cared about you specifically, if it had preferences about how you should live, you'd be trapped in its expectations. You'd have cosmic standards to meet, universal goals to satisfy. Your worth would be determined by how well you pleased an indifferent God that could never clearly communicate what it wanted from you. You'd spend your life seeking approval from something that could never give you clear feedback. That's not freedom. That's prison. But the universe doesn't care, which means you're free to decide for yourself what matters, free to create your own values, your own meaning, your own purpose. The canvas is blank. The universe isn't telling you what to paint. You get to choose. This is terrifying and liberating in equal measure. Terrifying because there's no instruction manual, no cosmic parent to tell you what to do, no ultimate authority to validate your choices. You're on your own, making it up as you go, responsible for your own meaning making, but liberating because your choices are actually yours. You're not serving anyone else's agenda. You're not fulfilling someone else's purpose. You're free to live according to your own values, to create your own meaning, to decide for yourself what kind of life you want to live and what kind of person you want to be. And here's the paradox that I find beautiful. The universe doesn't love you, but it made you anyway. Think about what had to happen for you to exist. The universe had to expand from the Big Bang for 13.8 billion years. Stars had to form and die and scatter their elements. Those elements had to gather into planets. Chemistry had to become complex enough to produce self-replicating molecules. Those molecules had to evolve for billions of years through countless generations. Your specific lineage had to survive every extinction event, every famine, every disaster. Your parents had to meet at exactly the right moment. You had to be the one sperm out of millions that fertilized that particular egg. The universe spent 13.8 billion years creating the conditions for your existence. It gave you consciousness, curiosity, the capacity for joy and wonder and love. It arranged matter in such a way that you emerged, briefly able to experience and comprehend and care. If that's not love, it's something close to it. Not emotional love, but structural generosity. The universe keeps making conditions for more awareness, more complexity, more life. It's biased toward consciousness without being conscious itself. Think about that. The universe has no awareness, no intentions, no goals. It just follows physics. But the physics it follows consistently generates increasing complexity over time. Simple atoms become complex molecules. Complex molecules become self-replicating chemistry. Self-replicating chemistry becomes biology. Biology becomes nervous systems. Nervous systems become brains. Brains become consciousness. There's a direction to this, an arrow pointing from simplicity toward complexity, from unconsciousness toward awareness. Why? Nobody knows for certain. Maybe it's just what physics does when left alone long enough, when given enough space and time to explore possibilities. Maybe there's something inherent in the laws of nature that favors the emergence of complexity, some principle we haven't fully understood yet. Maybe we're the inevitable result of a universe that, given enough time and space, will always produce observers to observe it. Or maybe we're a fantastically unlikely accident, a 1 in a trillion fluke that happened once in this corner of the cosmos and nowhere else, making us even more precious for our improbability. Either way, you're here, briefly conscious in a mostly unconscious universe. And what you do with that consciousness, that's your choice. The universe isn't telling you what to choose. It's just offering you the opportunity to choose at all, which is more than it offers to galaxies or stars or atoms. So let me get practical with you now, because understanding IC 1101, understanding cosmic scale, understanding your place in all of this, that's one thing. Intellectual comprehension is valuable. But how do you actually live with this knowledge? How do you wake up tomorrow and go about your day knowing you're temporary stardust in an indifferent cosmos? How do you find motivation, meaning, purpose when you've accepted that nothing you do will last forever and the universe doesn't care either way? I want to offer you some practices. Not vague philosophical advice, but specific things you can do. Small rituals that help you stay sane in a universe that's magnificent and indifferent. These aren't self-improvement techniques designed to make you more productive or successful. They're not about becoming better or achieving more. They're about living honestly with reality instead of fighting against it. About finding peace with what's actually true instead of what you wish were true. First practice, the weekly scale reset. Once a week, deliberately zoom out from your problems and place them against cosmic scale. Don't do this daily, that's too much. It becomes exhausting and loses its impact. But once a week, set aside 10 minutes, sit down somewhere quiet, and do this exercise deliberately. Name your current biggest worry. Whatever's been keeping you up at night, whatever's been gnawing at you, whatever feels overwhelming right now, be specific. Write it down if that helps make it concrete. Is it relationship conflict? Financial stress? Health anxiety? Career uncertainty? Social embarrassment? Fear about the future? Name it clearly. Now imagine you're looking at Earth from space, from the International Space Station, maybe 400 kilometers up. You can see the curve of the planet, the clouds swirling, the blue of oceans, the brown and green of continents. Your worry is happening on that blue dot, somewhere down there in one of those cities, or towns or rural areas. Can you see it from there? No. You're looking at the whole planet, all 7.8 billion people, all their dramas and struggles and joys, and your specific problem is too small to be visible. It's happening somewhere down there, but from space it's invisible. Zoom out further. You're looking at the solar system now, maybe from the perspective of the Voyager spacecraft. There's the sun, huge and bright, dominating the view. There are the planets, small dots orbiting at various distances. Earth is one of them, a pale blue dot, in the words of Carl Sagan. Your worry is on that planet, happening to one of billions of organisms. Can you see it from here? Can you even see Earth clearly? No. Keep zooming. The Milky Way galaxy, 200 to 400 billion stars. One of them is our sun, orbiting somewhere in the outer spiral arms about 26,000 light years from the galactic center. Your worry is happening near one of those stars, on a small planet orbiting one star among hundreds of billions. Can you locate it? Can you point to which star is ours? No, further out. The local group of galaxies, containing our Milky Way, Andromeda, Triangulum, and dozens of dwarf galaxies, the Virgo supercluster, containing thousands of galaxies spread across 100 million light years. The cosmic web of galaxy filaments and voids, the large-scale structure of the universe. And finally, imagine looking at the universe from a perspective where you can see IC 1101, a billion light years away, shining with the light of 100 trillion stars. Now, against that scale, how big is your worry? The point of this exercise is not to dismiss your problems or invalidate your feelings. Your worry is real to you. It's causing you real suffering. You still have to deal with it. But cosmic perspective prevents you from treating every problem like an existential crisis, from inflating every setback to catastrophic proportions. Most of what stresses you is temporary, local, and survivable. The scale reset reminds you of this without minimizing your experience. If your worry still seems massive after zooming out, if it doesn't shrink when placed against IC 1101, that's information too. Some problems actually are significant even on larger scales. Deep loss, terminal illness, existential threats to yourself or people you love, these don't evaporate when you zoom out. They remain large because they affect consciousness, which is the rare and valuable thing in the universe. But most things, the email you regret sending, the conversation that went wrong, the career anxiety, the social embarrassment, the financial stress that's uncomfortable but not catastrophic, these things shrink dramatically when you remember the universe contains IC 1101. This practice trains you to maintain proportion. Over time, you develop an internal sense of scale. You stop catastrophizing every setback. You suffer less because you're not inflating small problems to cosmic significance. IC 1101 becomes your weekly reminder of what cosmic significance actually looks like, and your daily problems look appropriately small by comparison. Not unimportant, but proportional. Second practice, the consumption audit. IC 1101 died by eating everything around it. Don't do that. Once a month, audit what you're consuming versus what you're generating. Make 2 lists. Column A, what I consumed this month. Be brutally honest. Content you watched, how many hours of television or YouTube or social media, food you ate, not to judge your diet, but to see the pattern. Experiences you had where you were receiving, attention you received from others, resources you used, other people's energy you took, their time, their care, their labor, added up. Column B, what I generated this month. Ideas you contributed at work or in conversations, things you created, whether art or writing or code or meals or anything that didn't exist before you made it. Help you offered to others, beauty you made or preserved, problems you solved, attention you gave genuinely to others, time you spent in service. Look at the ratio. Be honest about what you see. Are you consuming 90% and generating 10%? That's the IC 1101 pattern. Extractive, unsustainable, heading toward terminal stagnation. You're taking more than you're giving back. You're growing through consumption instead of creation. Eventually, you'll deplete your ecosystem and find yourself alone in the middle of plenty that's become scarcity, surrounded by depleted relationships and exhausted resources. Now adjust, not to punish yourself, not to feel guilty, but to rebalance towards sustainability. Find one way to generate more next month. One small shift towards circulation instead of extraction. Maybe you consumed 30 hours of Netflix this month. Can you create 3 hours of something next month? Writing, cooking, teaching, building, gardening, helping, volunteering, anything that adds value instead of extracting it. 10% is a reasonable start. If you took emotional support from friends all month, calling them when you're down, can you offer some next month? Not transactionally, not keeping score, but consciously. Check in with them. Ask how they're doing and actually listen. If you extracted value from your workplace without contributing your best effort, coasting while others carry the load, what's one way to give back? The goal isn't perfection. It's avoiding IC 1101's fate through conscious rebalancing. You can't consume forever without depleting your ecosystem. Eventually, there's nothing left, and you're enormous and empty. The consumption audit helps you catch this pattern before it's terminal. Over time, you start noticing extraction patterns in real time. You catch yourself taking without giving, and slowly, naturally, you shift toward reciprocity. Not because it's morally superior, though it might be, but because it's sustainable and creates better conditions for your own long-term flourishing. Third practice, the 5-minute mortality meditation. IC 1101 is dying. So are you. Stop pretending otherwise. Once a week, set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes or keep them open, whatever feels natural. Say out loud or in your head slowly and clearly, I am going to die. Everyone I love is going to die. Everything I build will eventually decay. Notice your reaction. Fear, sadness, relief, resistance, anger, numbness. Don't judge the reaction. Don't try to change it. Just notice it. Sit with whatever arises. Let it be there. If your mind tries to distract you with other thoughts, gently bring it back to the reality of mortality. After a minute or two of sitting with mortality, ask yourself, knowing this, knowing I'm mortal and temporary, how do I want to spend today? What actually matters to me? What would I do differently if I remembered I won't be here forever? Sit with whatever answer arises. Don't force wisdom. Don't manufacture profound insights. Just listen to what emerges naturally from confronting your own temporariness. The point is not to become morbid or depressed. The point is to stop running from the obvious. You spend enormous energy pretending you're permanent, that you have infinite time, that death is something happening to other people. This meditation interrupts that delusion gently but firmly. When you accept your mortality clearly, not dramatically, not obsessively, just clearly and regularly, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter to you. You stop delaying what matters. You stop engaging in petty conflicts because you realize, I have maybe 30,000 days left if I'm lucky. Do I really want to spend one of them angry about this? Usually the answer is no. Death stops being the terrifying thing you avoid thinking about and becomes a gentle advisor, a reminder to use your time well. When you're unclear about a decision, ask, what would I do if I had 1 year left? That question cuts through nonsense fast and reveals what you actually value. Fourth practice, the comprehension celebration. Once a month, celebrate the fact that you can understand something you have no practical reason to understand. Learn one new true thing about the universe that will never affect your daily life, never improve your career, never make you money, never solve your problems. It could be about IC 1000, 101, black holes, deep-sea creatures, ancient civilizations, the behavior of quarks, the structure of DNA, the evolution of language, anything real that's bigger than your immediate concerns. Take 10 minutes to really absorb it. Watch a video, read an article, look at pictures. Not passively scrolling, but with full attention. Turn off other distractions. Focus entirely on this one thing. Notice how you feel as you learn it. Wonder, awe, curiosity? That feeling is important. That's the universe becoming conscious of itself through you. That's consciousness doing what consciousness does. Reaching beyond immediate survival needs to comprehend reality for its own sake. Then share it with someone. Make the universe slightly more conscious by helping another person comprehend something true. Tell a friend, post about it, explain it to a family member. Don't lecture, just share your genuine excitement. I learned the craziest thing today. The sharing matters because it spreads awareness, creates connection through shared wonder, and practices articulating what you understand. Most of what we learn is instrumental. We learn to advance careers, pass tests, solve problems, get better outcomes. This practice is different. You're learning purely for comprehension's sake. You're exercising your consciousness to prove you can. You're participating in the universe's self-awareness project without any expectation of reward. When you regularly engage with ideas bigger than yourself, you maintain humility and wonder. Your problems stay proportional, your ego stays manageable, and you develop the capacity to think about things that don't serve you directly, which is the foundation of both morality and meaning. You stop measuring everything by utility. You start valuing things because they're true, not because they're useful. This is how you stay human in a world that wants to reduce you to a consumer and producer. Fifth practice, the legacy release. Write down what you want to be remembered for. Be completely honest. What legacy are you trying to build? What do you hope people will say about you after you die? Write it all down. Every hope, every fantasy about being remembered as great or good or important or successful. Now imagine it's 10 trillion years in the future. The sun is dead, Earth is gone, consumed billions of years ago when the sun expanded into a red giant. Humanity is extinct or unrecognizably transformed into something else. Everything you built has decayed into atoms, scattered across space. The pyramids are gone, Rome is gone, every book ever written is gone, every building ever built is gone. Does your legacy exist? Can anyone remember you? Is there any record of your existence anywhere in the universe? No. Feel the grief of that. Really feel it. Don't rush past it. Sit with a total erasure of everything you hoped would last. All your striving, all your work, all your hope for permanence, all your desire to be remembered, gone, completely and utterly gone. Let yourself feel the loss of that fantasy. Now ask, if nothing I do will last forever, if no one will remember me in 10 trillion years, what do I actually want to do while I'm here? What matters to me right now, independent of legacy? Write that down. That's your real purpose, stripped of legacy anxiety. That's what actually drives you when you're not performing for an imaginary future audience. Legacy is a trap. It's ego dressed up as nobility. It's your fear of death disguised as ambition. You don't actually want to be remembered by strangers 10,000 years from now. You want to feel valuable now. You want to know your life matters. But you've confused mattering now with being remembered later, and they're not the same thing. This practice separates them. When you release legacy, you stop doing things to be remembered and start doing things because they feel true now, because they align with your values, because they bring you joy or meaning or purpose in the present moment. The question shifts from, will this last, to, does this feel true? And the second question is answerable. The first one isn't because nothing lasts. IC 1101 won't last forever. The universe won't last forever. Stop optimizing for the impossible. When you stop hoarding recognition for yourself, when you release the need to build a monument that endures, you can celebrate others freely. You can collaborate without competition. You can do good work without needing credit. The release of legacy is the birth of actual service and genuine presence. These practices aren't commandments. They're not rules you must follow to be enlightened or good. They're offers, experiments, tools you can try. Use them, modify them, abandon the ones that don't work for you. But try something. Because understanding IC 1101 without changing your life is like reading a map without traveling anywhere. The goal isn't information, it's transformation. And transformation requires practice, not just knowledge. Now let me bring us to the deepest question of all, the question that's probably been sitting in the back of your mind this entire time. If you're temporary, if the universe is indifferent, if nothing you do will last forever, why do anything at all? Why not just give up? Why not embrace nihilism and spend your brief time seeking pleasure and avoiding pain and not caring about anything bigger than yourself? Why bother? This is the question that haunts everyone who thinks seriously about cosmic scale. It's the abyss that opens up when you truly accept your own temporariness and the universe's indifference. And I'm not going to lie to you, there's no easy answer that will make this question disappear permanently. There's no argument I can give you that will solve this once and for all. You have to sit with it, you have to wrestle with it. You have to find your own way through again and again. But let me offer you my answer. The answer I've arrived at, after decades of thinking about these things, watching animals live and die, contemplating my own mortality, studying the cosmos, I think the question itself is backwards. The question assumes that for something to matter, it has to matter forever, to everyone, cosmically, objectively, independent of any conscious observer. But why? Who decided that's the requirement for significance? When you hold someone you love, does that moment matter less because it won't last forever? When you see something beautiful, a sunset or a piece of art or a natural landscape, is your wonder diminished by knowing beauty is temporary? When you help someone who's suffering, is your compassion meaningless because that person will eventually die anyway? When you create something, write something, build something, is it worthless because it won't exist in 10 trillion years? No. The moment matters because it's real, because it's experienced, because consciousness is present and feeling something true. That value is real, even if it's temporary. That significance exists, even if it's local. That meaning is genuine, even though it won't last forever. Meaning doesn't require cosmic endorsement. It doesn't require eternal duration. It doesn't require the universe to validate it or applaud it or remember it. Meaning is what happens when consciousness pays attention to experience and finds value in it. That value is as real as anything can be, more real perhaps than physical objects, because value exists in consciousness, and consciousness is the only place where anything matters at all. Watch a parent with a child, tenderly caring for them. Watch an artist finishing a painting, absorbed completely in the work. Watch a scientist discovering something true, seeing a pattern no one has seen before. Watch friends laughing together. Watch someone overcome their fear to do something difficult. That meaning is real. It matters to the people involved. It shapes their experience of existence. It's creating value in the universe where no value existed before. And the fact that it won't last forever doesn't make it meaningless. It makes it precious. It makes it urgent. It makes it worth protecting while it exists. Impermanence doesn't negate value. Impermanence creates value by making everything finite, unrepeatable, unique. If you had infinite time, nothing would be precious. It's precisely because you don't have infinite time that your choices matter. You're generating meaning right now by reading this, by thinking about IC 1101, by wrestling with these questions about your place in the cosmos. That meaning exists in your consciousness. It's changing how you see yourself and the universe. It might influence how you live tomorrow. And yes, eventually you'll die and that meaning will dissolve with you. But it was real while it lasted. It mattered while you were here, experiencing it. This is the answer to nihilism. Not a grand cosmic purpose handed down from on high by a benevolent creator. Not an objective meaning written into the fabric of reality by the universe itself, but a million small purposes generated moment by moment by conscious beings making meaning from experience. You don't need the universe to tell you what matters. You get to decide what matters. And what you decide is as valid as any other source of meaning could possibly be. IC 1101 will never know you noticed it. But you know. And in that knowing, in that act of comprehension and wonder, you've added something to the universe that wasn't there before. Human awareness of IC 1101. A consciousness contemplating a galaxy. That's new in the history of the cosmos. That's real. That matters, at least to you. And your mattering is the only kind of mattering that exists. You are not here to last forever. You're here to matter right now. And you do. Not in some grandiose cosmic sense, not in a way that will be remembered for eternity, but in the immediate experiential sense. You matter to yourself. You matter to the people who love you. You matter to anyone whose life you've touched or will touch. That mattering is local, temporary, and absolutely real. So here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Here's what spending 2 hours contemplating IC 1101 should leave you with the core truths you can carry forward. You are small in size, but not in significance. Your physical scale doesn't determine your value. IC 1101 is vastly larger than you and vastly less aware. Size is not what matters. Consciousness is what matters. Experience is what matters. You can comprehend things you can never physically touch. That's power. That's reach. That's what consciousness does, that matter alone cannot. You are free because the universe is indifferent. The cosmos doesn't have a plan for you, doesn't have expectations of you, doesn't judge your choices as right or wrong by some cosmic standard. That's not abandonment. It's liberation. You get to decide what your life is for. You get to create your own values, your own meaning, your own purpose. That responsibility is yours alone, and that's a gift. You are temporary, and that's an advantage. If you had trillions of years like IC 1101, you'd waste most of them because nothing would be urgent. Your time limit forces presence. It makes your attention valuable. It creates urgency that focuses your mind on what actually matters to you. Brief doesn't mean insignificant, it means concentrated. It means every moment is irreplaceable. You are made of stars. Literally, chemically, undeniably, not metaphorically. The atoms in your body were forged in stellar cores and scattered by supernovas. You're recycled cosmos. You're not separate from IC 1101. You're made by the same processes, governed by the same physics. Your family in the most literal sense possible. You are the universe, becoming aware of itself. Without you or beings like you, IC 1101 is just matter moving through space following physics. With you, it becomes meaningful. It becomes part of a story. It becomes something to wonder at. You're the meaning maker, your consciousness happening to matter. You're the rare exception in a mostly unconscious cosmos, and that makes you precious beyond measure. You are dying beautifully. Everything beautiful is temporary. The cherry blossoms fall, the sunset fades. I see 1,101 stars will burn out, and you age toward dissolution. That's not a flaw in the design, that's the design itself. Impermanence is what makes things precious. If you lasted forever, you wouldn't matter at all. It's the ending that creates significance. These are the truths I see 1,101 teaches when you look at it honestly, when you let it be a mirror for understanding yourself. Not comfortable truths, but true truths, real truths. And living in alignment with truth, even uncomfortable truth, is better than living in comfortable delusion. Reality is better than fantasy, even when reality is difficult. So, what do you do tomorrow? How do you live differently after spending this time with me? After contemplating the largest galaxy ever discovered? You stop pretending you're permanent. You accept your mortality clearly and let it guide your priorities. You ask yourself regularly, is this how I want to spend my limited time? And when the answer is no, you change course. Not dramatically, not by abandoning everything, but by small adjustments toward authenticity. You stop waiting for cosmic validation that will never come. The universe cannot give it to you. That's not how physics works. Instead, you validate yourself by creating meaning that feels true to you. You decide what matters and you honor that decision through your actions, through how you spend your time and attention. You stop growing through consumption and start growing through creation. You balance what you take with what you give. You participate in cycles instead of breaking them. You become sustainable instead of extractive. You recognize that I see 1,101's fate, enormous but depleted, is available to you too if you're not careful. You stop measuring yourself by scale and start measuring yourself by awareness. You're not trying to be the biggest or the most powerful or the most successful or the richest or the most famous. You're trying to be conscious, present, comprehending, authentic. That's the rare thing. That's what matters in a universe of unconscious matter. You stop confusing legacy with purpose. You release your need to be remembered by strangers and start focusing on being present to the people in front of you. You do things because they feel true now, because they align with your values, not because you hope they'll last forever or make you immortal. And most importantly, you remember that you're briefly conscious in a mostly unconscious universe. That's extraordinary. That's improbable. That's worth celebrating every single day. Every moment of awareness you have is a gift, not because some giver gave it to you deliberately, but because the universe arranged itself in such a way that awareness became possible at all against enormous odds. I see 1,101 exists for trillions of years without knowing it exists. You exist for decades while knowing you exist. Your brief awakened time is worth more than all of IC 1,101's unconscious duration. Don't waste it. Don't spend it pretending to be something you're not. Don't spend it chasing permanence that physics won't allow. Don't spend it waiting for meaning to arrive from outside when you're the only source of meaning that exists in your life. You are recycled stars learning about stars. You are the universe contemplating itself through the highly improbable emergence of consciousness. You are brief and bright and beautiful and mortal and meaningful, and that's enough. It's more than enough. It's everything. The largest galaxy we've ever found is bigger than your imagination can hold. But the fact that you can imagine it at all, that you can try to comprehend it, that you can hold in your mind a picture of 100 trillion stars spread across millions of light years, that you can wonder about its past and its future and what it means for your own existence, that's perhaps the most amazing thing in the entire cosmos. If this changed something for you, if I see 1,101 helped you see yourself differently, if you feel a little less lost in the vastness and a little more comfortable with your temporary place in this magnificent, indifferent universe, I'd love to know. Leave a comment. Tell me which lesson landed deepest for you. Tell me which practice you'll try first. Tell me if this helped or if I missed something important. These conversations matter. They're how we become conscious together, how we help each other navigate being briefly aware in an indifferent universe. If you want more of this, more cosmic perspective, more honest philosophy, more attempts to make sense of being temporarily conscious in an eternal cosmos, subscribe. I'll be here trying to comprehend out loud, using the natural world and the cosmos to understand what it means to be human, mortal, aware. And remember this final thought. You're not looking at the universe from outside. You are the universe looking at itself. Don't waste that. Don't waste this brief, bright, impossible awareness you've been given by chance and physics. Go outside tonight if the sky is clear. Look up. You won't see IC 1101. It's too faint, too distant. But you'll see stars. And those stars are your relatives. The atoms in your body were made in stars, like those. You're not separate from what you're looking at. Your family, stay out there for 5 minutes. Just 5. Let the scales settle in. Let the wonder arrive. Feel how small you are and how vast your comprehension is. Feel how temporary you are and how ancient your atoms are. Feel how alone you are and how connected you are to everything that exists. Then go back inside and do something that matters to you. Not something that will last forever, just something true, something that feels right in this moment, something that honors the fact that you're stardust that learned to think, atoms that became aware, the universe briefly conscious of itself. You're not broken, you're not insignificant, you're not separate from the cosmos. You are what happens when the universe becomes complex enough to know itself. You have perhaps 80 years. Use them well, not for legacy, not for permanence, not to be remembered. Use them to comprehend, to create, to care while you can. The largest galaxy we've ever found is dying. So are you. Light it up anyway. Make meaning anyway. Love people anyway. Create beauty anyway. Be conscious anyway. Because that's what aware matter does in a mostly unconscious universe. It makes light in the dark for as long as it can. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for contemplating IC 1101 together. The universe is slightly more conscious now than it was 2 hours ago because you paid attention. That matters. You matter. Now go. Go live like you know it.